There are loads of games on the bloody-eyed blue blur, but I never imagined there would be games and creations that extend to the world of virtual reality. That's right, dear viewer, we're delving into something I don't really see talked about often. And while most people aren't afraid of the typical Sonic EXE, does that change in VR? The answer varies from person to person, but I found a VR experience that was actually really impressive and well made, and nobody's talking about it. It's worth mentioning that everything I talk about in this video is VRchat. So if you are a VRchat player and you want to check it out, it's completely free and honestly an amazing experience. Though, keep in mind, if you're a standalone Quest user, it will not work for you, but if you connect it to a PC or you're a PC VR player, then this is for you. I'll have the name of the world and I visit and the person who made it in the description. Not only does this world have a fully 3D remake of the original Miss Crimson game in 2012, but it has an entire other experience built into it involving a fully playable Sonic game involving Sonic Rewrite. There's platforming, rewrite music, and a story too. And I just knew I had to do a video on it. Seeing Rewrite come to life in a virtual experience, hell, even seeing Sonic EXE was something I wasn't fully expecting. Oh, there will be flashing lights in this video, so please proceed with caution. Without further ado, let's jump into this surprisingly scary world of Sonic horror in VR. Before talking about the main world itself, I wanted to talk about the EXE community and the Sonic horror community as a whole, and how they came together and started to make models for the game and give them sick animations. Characters I wouldn't expect to have models are here, like Hog, Sonic Rewrite, Allfather, Lord X. I mean, there are a lot of them, and it's really cool to see. They even have Friday Night Funkin' models, and they do their poses, and some even have music. Some of my favorites are Starved. In VR, he's actually quite scary to look at. I really find it fascinating that there's a whole niche out there dedicated to creating a Sonic horror experience and feature their favorite spooky characters in this world. VRchat is a game that I've had a lot of fun with and made a lot of memories with friends. While I never went to many public worlds, a lot of fond memories are in private worlds. So seeing creations fully move around in a VR environment is really cool. There's other hangout worlds that have recreations of Friday Night Funkin' mods, specifically the OG Sonic EXE back in the day. While there isn't much to do, it's neat to see all of these stages in a way you wouldn't normally get to. Want to be tripped out by the visuals of Prey? Now you can, and there are a lot of other portals and things to see. I think people would hang out here often and was a popular thing back in the day. They even have different models you can morph into, though I don't know how popular it is nowadays. The hype for this particular EXE mod has died down, so this hangout world might not get as much traction anymore. Though that's just one of the worlds you can explore. Finding all of these niche things in VR really is surreal to see. Like a malware skin exists, and even casual Sonic fans have something to enjoy in this game. Say what you will about public lobbies, but there's a lot to VRchat when you play with friends or you just want to look through different worlds. Though there's one experience I think is the best Sonic EXE VR experience. Sonic VR 1997. You're able to join up to 6 people, but it's better experienced your first run by yourself for maximum levels of spooky, and keep in mind it's just a demo. I gotta say, I am absolutely impressed by the details and the amount of stuff you get to do in this VRchat world. It's super interactive. It offers 2 different experiences depending on the choice that you make. And while some are kind of jank or don't always work as intended, everything looks great. So I'm going to give you guys a rundown of my experience, and hopefully I can put some eyes on this world, because if you're a Sonic EXE fan and you like VR like I do, then you need to experience this because it is really cool to see. When I first played this, you immediately spawned in a room with the TV, but now there's a whole title screen and you have to walk into the room whenever the party is ready. It's worth mentioning that late people joining the world won't be spawned in at the right place. so make sure you have everyone before walking through the door. An old TV with the Sega Genesis sits in front of it, and off to the side is an old computer. The room itself has some neat details and notes you can look at, but not much aside from that. In order to start the game, you'll need to press the reset button on the Sega Genesis, but I had a lot of trouble pressing the button because I was too tall. I think it was mostly due to my headset because I was using a Quest 2 attached to Steam Link, so maybe that was it? I just turned myself into Sonic so I was shorter and I was able to press it. There's probably a sweet spot that you can find, but I found this option to be much easier. Pressing the button doesn't start it right away, as you have to walk to the PC and press either yes or no on the keyboard. I didn't know this at first, but I was just like clicking buttons and accidentally hit no. This starts the classic Sonic EXE experience, a game that replicates the original 2012 game made by Mist Crimson. I'll have a timestamp if you want to skip to the rewrite stuff, but if you want the full experience, you can keep this playing. Suddenly, we're brought into the game with the Sonic startup screen, and the usual thing happens with the red eyes. We are then brought to the character select screen for the victims. And you don't get to choose, but I like that they kept this. Each character has their stage completely remade in a 3D environment. It's about as you would expect, but if you walk the opposite of where you're supposed to go, you get the additional level for each character just like in the original Sonic game. I think some people might be scared by this, but will also feel a lot of nostalgia in a weird way. Walking to the right simulator was scary at one point to us when we were kids, but is it as scary when you're in VR? I think it depends on the person, but compared to the original, yeah, it's way scarier. You're not watching Tails this time. You are Tails. The levels are well designed and match the game one for one. After jumping to the lava where Sonic is, we have to walk back to collect a ring. What is this for? I'll just have to tell you later. It's what you would expect from here. As you're walking, you'll see dead animals placed about until eventually we find our good old buddy just standing there waiting for us. If you're curious about the jump scares and flashing lights, it's all here in VR glory. You actually get really close to Sonic EXE and there are jump scares. I'm not gonna say it's the scariest thing, but when you're in VR, you're fully immersed into this world. Your whole screen is filled with static, gradually, then darkness. He even talks to you like the classic Sonic EXE font, asking, do you want to play with me? Then you get taken to Burning Hill Zone, of which when you start to move forward, you're being chased. And if you have played Sonic EXE 2011, then you might recognize this. Ready or not, the weird twisted head sprite is in your face and you have to run. In case you're curious, yes, you actually are being chased. In fact, while you're running, if you look back, you can see the bloody-eyed blue blur rapidly approaching you. He'll kind of float before you for a minute, and we're taken back to the character select screen. Up next is Knuckles. You know the deal? Run the other way, but this time you actually have to jump off the edge and the whole world will glitch. Again, really awesome detail here. Is it a good thing that I actually feel like the victim here? Not really, but the visuals are cool. We don't like playing by the rules. So he takes us to... I think that's how you say it. And this place has a bunch of text. In Sonic EXE fashion, he does speak to us directly using our VRchat name to talk to you. If you're playing with other people, it only says the person who made the world. So sorry, everyone else, you might feel a little left out. After the yap session, we're taken back, we grab the ring, venture forward until blood spawns on the ground. I gotta say, this part actually did jump scare me. Even if I knew what was going to happen, him appearing in front of me while I was singing made me jump. And yes, I was singing. Then we get to punch the air a few times while Sonic EXE toys with us. I gotta say, when it's not in VR, I think it looks pretty goofy. The animations of him grabbing you is pretty cool though. Eggman is up next, and we get to hear the banger that is Hill.Gym. Though, unlike the others, Eggman's level has an additional step to collect his ring. You first have to walk to the top of the staircase without going down it, then walk backwards until you're teleported to another place. This part is truly trippy in VR, and if you look up, depending on who you are, you might get motion sickness. Try walking forward while you're moving, assuming you have space, for maximum trippiness. Everything goes red around you, and the bloody-eyed blue blur Ask why you keep fighting him. Teleporting back, we repeat the same process as before, get the last ring needed for the Easter egg. We stumble down some stairs, the walls get bloodied, and we're met with Sonic EXE teleporting in front of us. And just like that, you're taken back to your room. For anyone who grew up with Sonic EXE, I really think you'll like this experience, and maybe you'll find it goofy. Hell, on the TV, it shows some classic art of the I Am God screen, and following it is the words "Ready for Round 2," with another classic artwork. Shovel Knight, if you're watching this video, insanely well done, dude. Thank you for giving us a free game to enjoy in VR. It's really cool to see a niche community come together and make something like this. Though it doesn't end here. The static switches to Japanese symbols, eerie music playing in the background. I think these have been translated in the past, but if you guys know what it says, let me know. The TV switches again, an invitation. You're asked to play one more game, but this time it's your turn. End game appears on the screen, and behind you, the door opens. I love this detail because instead of a stupid plushie appearing on your bed, it's come to your world. It's come to your safe place. We're not in a game anymore. It's after you now. Walking downstairs, there are crystals and obstacles in your way as the word "run" appears on your screen. The chase has begun. For it being your first playthrough, I'm sure this could get some people. Though I will say, the static that fills your screen is a little bit much. I get the tension, but it could be a lot. Eventually though, everything stops and we see a door at the end of the hallway. It's over. We made it. And we can leave. Just kidding, he's here laughing at you. But remember, we collected all of those rings. Rewrite opens the door and quickly humbles Sonic EXE and makes your screen freak out. This was originally a teaser for what was to come, but it's here now. The fact that you're technically getting two different Sonic EXE experiences is amazing for the price of one world. So for any fans of the classic EXE, they can experience that side, and the new EXE fans, Sonic Rewrite is here. So after completing the main experience, you go back to the keyboard and hit yes. This will give a disclaimer, and with it, there are 9 zones you go through. It even has a story on its own that it sets up for you. Basically, it knows that this is a virtual world, as it says something about testing VR Sega units. Something speaks to you, someone who was trapped before you, and they ask who you are, and they call you an intruder. You've done something to them, but before we can find out what that is, we're taken to Green Hill, with Sonic peeking over the corner to greet us. This is just kind of a reminder that Sonic Rewrite is going to be watching you as this entire experience goes on. This has a lot of content to it, and it feels like you're actually playing a Sonic platformer in VR. Though it probably doesn't make you feel as sick because you're not actually running as fast as Sonic. You have to time your jumps and complete each stage. The further you go, the harder it gets, but it also raises the creepy factor in some areas. You get to collect rings, there's a timer, and the rings are actually fully 3D and not just images. It is, without a doubt, a Sonic Rewrite experience. The advantage of Sonic being animated in 3D means you can build a 3D environment around it and it makes sense. You'll see Rewrite as you continue forward, either tricking you or watching you. A lot of what's here are just Sonic stages better suited for VR with a few spooky elements, which does get worse over time. At the end of each stage, there is a goalpost, and there are actual checkpoints, so if you die at a certain spot, you won't have to go all the way back to the beginning. And fret not, you will be dying a lot. Some jumps are actually kind of scary, and the timing is important. Green Hill Zone is a little difficult. It definitely took me a few tries, though the difficulty will ramp up in some levels like Ancient Ruins. You'll be clenching your buns when you're forced to time your jumps over lava, spikes, and run past a hydraulic press with spikes attached to it. There's also times where a checkpoint is far away, so you actually have something to lose. I'm sure this won't be a problem for some people, and there might be a way to glitch out the game, but I recommend just playing this as intended because it adds for a tense experience. Sometimes I got a little goofy when it came to seeing Rewrite, but that was just because I was streaming and was excited to see Rewrite in complete VR. There was one part, I actually played this specific one twice, where I turned around and Rewrite actually scared me. I even knew that he was gonna be there, and I still got jump scared by him. No, seriously though, screw Ancient Ruins. It's hard. I'm also surprised at how long these levels are. And again, you get a lot of content out of it. Obviously, it's more scary alone, but if you want to grab a couple of friends and go on an adventure, it's fun. Maybe you can even scare them along the way. All right, the next level is called Forgotten, and it's a dark hallway. The way out forces you to kind of glitch out the world. I won't explain the whole experience for you, but there is a lot to be seen here. In the next level, there's even a secret where if you collect a silver ring, it takes you to another zone that's pretty eerie. The only way out is to find a red ring. One thing I like about this world is it tells its own story. To my understanding, someone is trapped here, and it might be your fault, or it says that it is your fault. This experience was testing for a Sega VR experience in 1997 and was to be announced alongside the Sega Dreamcast when it released. This really builds immersion and gives the player a role to play. The platforming is difficult, but well thought out. Jumps actually feel scary to take, and you'll have to be patient with approaches. You don't really encounter Rewrite all that much. I think the horror comes from the fact he's always watching. The atmosphere and things around you change. At the end, there's a wall of text that says this will be Sega's latest product, but the words change. Someone is talking to you. Someone is trapped within the tech demo, made to realize its only use is to promote a product that will never come out. The game wants to reset itself, and with it, the creation dies. It's likely the AI itself that's afraid, or maybe in this universe, Rewrite is a trapped soul, or maybe it's something else entirely. It's not really elaborated on. It doesn't understand why it was left behind, but it blames you. It won't let you leave. You're deep down the lake. It will take you to the very bottom with it. After this, we're taken to Mystic Cave. Going deeper, we find the title screen we've seen before, and with it, a code you could put in with your arrow keys. It basically just changes the visuals for you, switching between a more retro style and RBG, but ultimately, that's the experience. This is absolutely incredible and was a surprisingly long experience. I believe it took me an hour and a half, but depending on your skill, it could take you a little shorter. From amazing visuals to eerie levels and pretty good platforming, I could say this experience was a lot of fun. I streamed it to my chat, and if you guys want to see the gameplay video, I'll post an edited version to my second channel. The link for that will be down below, or you could check out my Twitch so you can join me for future streams. Aside from that, I'd love to see more projects like this. How cool would it be if there was a Lord X experience? And if you guys want to see something, maybe suggest it down below, or if you have experience with like VR world and coding, maybe you could create that. Quite frankly, I'm just glad something like this exists, and the work put into it is really appreciated. I mean, you get two experiences in one, and you get to pick which one you like. It does suck. It doesn't work on the Quest alone, but if you have a PC and you link it to your Quest, you could play it that way. To the creator and other EXE fans who added awesome stuff to VRchat, I thank you. I know it's a niche within a niche, so it might be hard to pick up traction, but hopefully I can bring this amount of people and put more eyes on this, because it's really an awesome experience. Oh, and before I go, if you're visiting Sonic Expo in Dallas, I'll actually be there as a guest. It'll be November 7th through the 9th. So if you'd like to say hi, consider going. I'll have a link for it down in the description below. I can't always answer questions or answer everyone I'd like to, but if you meet me in person, you could chat with me a bit. Thank you everyone so much for watching. And remember, stay spooky.